First of all, congratulations to Manchester City for winning the Premier League. Unbelievable what they've done since December. We've been on an incredible journey with every performance index being at the highest level that we have seen. And it still wasn't enough, and this is the level. So today is a mixed emotions festival. It's incredible to really be proud of those players, the staff, that they've done an incredible job and they have pushed every limit, every margin that we could find to try to win this Premier League. And unfortunately, it was a bit short and we could not deliver the big prize that we wanted because you can feel it that they are desperate for it. They took it away from us, and it's the second season, so there's only one way to do it. You have to be more determined, you have to be more ambitious, you need to have a lot of courage and push every limit and everything that we have because that's the next step. I'm sure the time for reflection will come, but do you have a feeling of what the difference was this year? I know it's tiny margins, but do you know what you need to do for next season? Like I said, everybody available in the crucial moment of the season. Huge difference. Is there a moment or game in particular you look back on? For sure, Aston Villa at home, in the first half it should have been 4-0. Maybe the story would have been different, but what happened last Tuesday, maybe today we're champions. These are the margins that are so small, and that's the credit as well that the club and the team should take, because you're doing this against the best team in the history of the Premier League by far. Man City have won the title with points totaling 93, 98, and this season 91 points. Are we reaching a stage where it might require 100 points to win the title to beat Man City or anybody else here? Yeah, but I was there when we did 100 points, so I know what it takes, I know what happened. And this is the level. Nobody has to explain to me what the level is, because I've been there 4 years, every day. So I know what we have to do if we want to reach there. And not only for one season, but for the rest. But we are on the right path, in the right journey, and to see the evolution so quickly happening, I haven't seen it before. So we're on the right trajectory. Now we need really to put the teeth and bite into it, because we really want more. But we start with Chelsea. They are searching for a new head coach after Mauricio Pochettino left last night following just one season in charge. Chelsea's co-owner Abedi Egbali is in London overseeing the search for a new man to lead their side. And right across the story for us is our in-house sports analyst Nolan Baker, who is with us now. Good evening to you, Nolan. The dust is maybe starting to settle after what was a bit of a blue bombshell, wasn't it, last night? What about looking to replace Pochettino? What's the move at Chelsea? Who are they looking at? Well, look, I think at the moment there are 4 leading candidates to take over from Mauricio Pochettino, but there are a couple of wildcards as well, names that are not in the media yet, but I'm sure they will be pretty soon. The 4 leading candidates at the moment, the first one that's very interesting is Kieran McKenna, who's done such a fantastic job at Ipswich Town. Now he's got a contract at Ipswich until 2027, and Ipswich will do their best to hold on to him, and they're planning on having talks with him about his future. Now, it remains to be seen what will happen, because Ipswich are considering offering him a new contract, but there are really big question marks now about whether he would sign a new contract. As far as the Chelsea situation and Kieran McKenna is concerned, other clubs are interested in him as well. Brighton, we know, are looking for a new head coach, and also potentially the Manchester United job could become available. Earlier today, I was told that there was a bit of sort of confidence building up behind the fact that McKenna could be the next Chelsea head coach, but this afternoon I've been told, hold on a second, don't get too carried away. Now, the other names on the shortlist, Enzo Maresca. Obviously used to work at Manchester City, assistant to Pep Guardiola, went to Leicester. He's got Leicester from the Championship as champions. His style of play suits the kind of style that Chelsea want to have at Stamford Bridge. Thomas Frank as well on the shortlist. He's got Premier League experience. He's done a brilliant job at Brentford. He plays football on the front foot. He's very good with the media as well. And also a couple of months ago, his set-piece coach at Brentford, Bruno Cueva, moved from Brentford to Chelsea. Potentially could we see Thomas Frank following him there as well? Don't rule it out, but other names on the shortlist as well, Sebastian Hoeneß. Now, this is an interesting one. He's the manager of Stuttgart. Took over there when they were in relegation trouble. They ended up finishing second in the Bundesliga ahead of Bayern Munich. Other names as well. Potential wildcards. Michel, Girona. Got Girona into the Champions League. They're part of the City football group as well, so he has links with Manchester City. Another name that's been mentioned to me that I hadn't considered before. Dino Topmöller, who's the Eintracht Frankfurt manager. They finished 6th in the Bundesliga. He used to work with Julian Nagelsmann as his assistant at Leipzig and also at Bayern Munich. So those are the names in the shortlist, and those are some of the wild cards as well who could come on the radar of the men who will decide who will be the next Chelsea head coach. Let's just talk a bit more about Kieran McKenna there, and he has worked wonders, as you said. Back-to-back promotions up into the Premier League. Would he want to finish the job he started, and you look at what he's done at Ipswich, the security he's got there? Would he want to leave all that for Chelsea? I think it'd be very difficult for somebody like Kieran McKenna to turn down the Chelsea job or to turn down the Manchester United job if it becomes available, or the Brighton job as well. I think he's obviously somebody who's ambitious. He's done an incredible job at Ipswich. You would have to say how many other managers could achieve what he's achieved in such a short period of time, but my sense is that if he was offered the job, he would find it very difficult to turn down. You've given us some very interesting names there in the frame potentially for Chelsea, but with the greatest respect to all of them, do any of them have a better CV than Pochettino? That's a very good question. I'm not sure whether they have a better CV than him, but they may turn out to be a better fit for Chelsea than Mauricio Pochettino. We've talked at length about the job that Mauricio Pochettino has done at Chelsea. He's done a good job. He can leave with his head held up high, but ultimately he didn't fit into the structure that they've built. He wasn't comfortable working in that structure. The fit wasn't quite right, and that's why he's left. That is why the new head coach, the most important thing, is that he fits into the structure that the new owners of Chelsea have built. He has to be a head coach. He's not going to be an old-fashioned manager who controls the whole club. Those days are gone. He's got to be somebody who's collaborative, who's collegiate, who's happy working with all the different departments at Chelsea, as well as coaching the first team in the mornings. So I've been told the new man has to be somebody who does all that and also has the personality to go head-to-head with Pep Guardiola, to go head-to-head with Mikel Arteta, because you can't be a shrinking violet if you're manager of Chelsea. It's such a big job that you have to have the personality, not just to impose yourself on that club, to take that job on, but also to impose yourself and go head-to-head with the other big main managers, not just in the Premier League, but also in European football. You talked about the structure of the club there, which takes me on to my final question. Who's making this decision? Who's going to have the final say? Well, I think first of all, the decision about who will be the next head coach will be made by the co-sporting directors. They're the ones who are leading this search. Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. They're the ones who are going through all the names, and look, I know the search started yesterday, but obviously they're the co-sporting directors. At clubs as big as Chelsea, you're always planning on what could happen. What would we need to do if we wanted to bring in a new head coach? So they will have files, they will have data on all these candidates. They will be the ones, I think, who will identify the preferred candidate, and they will present that name, and they will explain why they feel that person should be the next Chelsea head coach to the ownership group, and that includes Begdad Iqbali. It also includes Todd Boehly, and I've just got a sense that at the moment it's Begdad Iqbali who is the one who is sort of really calling the shots at Chelsea at the moment. He was in London, I think he arrived on Friday. He was at Old Trafford on Saturday to watch Chelsea win the WSL again under Emma Hayes. He was at Stamford Bridge to watch the game against Bournemouth on Sunday. He was speaking to Pochettino yesterday, so he is very involved in this process as well. I think the process is led by the co-sporting directors, but ultimately the decision will be down to men like Begdad Iqbali and also Todd Boehly. Of course, you know Xavi and Iniesta swap their shirt numbers when they play for the national team and club. But did you know the real reason why? Xavi and Iniesta are the greatest midfielders in football history. In Barcelona, Xavi wears shirt number 6 and Iniesta wears number 8. But in the Spain national team, Xavi wears number 8 and Iniesta wears number 6. This has a deep reason that will break your heart. Iniesta said Xavi was wearing number 6 in Barcelona and he loved his number so much. But I asked him to swap our numbers in the national team. He wears number 8 and I wear number 6 because of the big love and respect we hold for each other. So this will stay a memory between us and football fans forever. Iniesta continued and said, I will never forget the duo that we made with Xavi. I think football fans won't forget it too. Can those who respect this duo like the video? Did you know that Alessandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo became the first teenagers to score in an FA Cup final since Cristiano Ronaldo in 2004? Their goals helped Manchester United secure the FA Cup, ensuring their qualification for the Europa League. Their impressive performances signal a bright future ahead. Did you know how Kaka made Carlo Ancelotti regret his word? In 2003, AC Milan signed Kaka. Carlo Ancelotti said, "They bought me a player wearing glasses with stupid smile and childish features. He said this player doesn't even look Brazilian. He looks like a student. He only needs books and a bag." Then, in the first training session, Gattuso played a dirty pass to Kaka. Everyone thought he would waste it, but Kaka received it very beautifully and dribbled past Nesta and scored a goal. Gattuso said he dribbled Paolo Maldini like a baby in training, not like one of the greatest defenders of all time. Carlo Ancelotti then called the president and told him, "Congratulations, you bought me a legend that will replace Costa for only 8.8 million. And everybody was expecting him to be the best player in the world, and it happened. He won the Ballon d'Or in 2007 and became a legend at AC Milan. Do you think Kaka is among the best 5 Brazilian players ever? Did you know why Van Persie celebrated so hard after scoring against his former club Arsenal? The real reason behind the most disrespectful celebration in football history will leave you speechless. In 2011, Van Persie had a great season. He scored 30 goals in 38 Premier League games. He was on fire and destroying every team. He won the Golden Boot and led Arsenal to 3rd place. But something shocking happened. Arsenal refused to offer Van Persie a new contract. Van Persie decided to leave Arsenal and joined Manchester United for a $24 million deal. During his unveiling, he thanked Arsenal and said he loved the club. He spent 9 years at the club. Then he played against Arsenal at Old Trafford. He scored but didn't celebrate. When he came back to the Emirates, he didn't receive a warm welcome. Arsenal fans booed him. At the 41st minute, he scored from a penalty. Although they were booing him, he didn't celebrate. Arsenal fans burned his shirt. He never forgot. The next match he scored and did this. Did you know that Kingsley Coman sees his injuries as a mixed blessing? He shared, "Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise because I met my wife during the 2018 World Cup. If I'd been at the World Cup, I wouldn't have a wife. Now I have a wife and kids. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. You always have to keep going. Sometimes things happen for a reason. Sometimes not. You always have to fight. That's life." I don't think people understand how great Jose Mourinho was. Porto had only 1 European Cup in their history. Jose Mourinho came and won 2 in a row. Chelsea hadn't won the Premier League in 50 years. But Jose Mourinho came and won it 3 times. Inter didn't win the Champions League for 45 years. Jose Mourinho came and won it. Real Madrid hadn't won the Copa del Rey for 22 years. Jose Mourinho came and won it. Real Madrid couldn't pass the round of 16 in the Champions League for 6 years. Jose Mourinho came and took them to 3 Champions League semi-finals in a row. Manchester United hadn't won a European Cup for 9 years. Jose Mourinho came and won the Europa League in 2007. Roma had never won a European Cup in their history. Jose Mourinho came and won the Conference League. Roma didn't play a European final for 30 years. Jose Mourinho came and they played 2 in a row. Did you know that Toni Kroos has decided to retire from football? He once expressed his desire to avoid retiring past his prime or ending his career on the bench, stating, "There are 2 things I want to avoid. Retiring past my best so people forget the player I once was, and I don't want to end my career on the bench. As I have always said, Real Madrid is and will be my last club." True to his word, Kroos will retire at the end of this season, concluding his illustrious career after the Euros this summer without signing a new contract with Real Madrid. Kroos has been highly praised by some of the biggest names in football. Klopp called him a genius. Cruyff believed he deserved a Ballon d'Or. Scholes called him the smartest player in the world. Guardiola named him the bravest player he has seen, and Zidane ranked him among the best he's ever seen. Clearly, Toni Kroos will be remembered as one of the greatest midfielders ever.